Friends of George Floyd are calling for justice right here in West Michigan. Why they're joining a protest here in Kalamazoo.
It's not that we're against the use of masks. We just feel with this executive order, it'd be hard to enforce.
As new rules about masks get ready to take effect, why one West Michigan sheriff says his office won't be enforcing the executive order. Plus, weeks away from a primary election, why one group is calling for an investigation into absentee ballots.
Live, local, breaking news. You're watching News Channel 3, live at 6.
Good evening, I'm Callie Rainey. Thanks for joining us tonight. Close friends of George Floyd are in Kalamazoo tonight. They're joining the voices of West Michigan demanding an end to police brutality and racial injustice. It comes almost exactly 1 month after Floyd was laid to rest in Houston, Texas. News Channel 3's Genevieve Grippo joins us now live in Bronson Park, where a protest just wrapped up. Genevieve, marchers tell you it's important to keep their message alive.
You can just go ahead and delete Messenger Lite.
Yeah, Callie, protesters say calls for justice must continue until real systemic change happens. Today, former NBA player Steven Jackson, as well as Milton "Po-Boy" Carney, were in Kalamazoo leading a march through downtown to do just that, both of whom say they are like brothers to George Floyd. And the passion today was...
Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! I'm done! Enough is enough!
Hundreds participated in today's protest, marching down Michigan Avenue, chanting the names of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. They say police officers involved in police brutality must be held accountable as any other citizen would be. One of today's organizers says she posted about racial injustices on social media, and Jackson and Carney shared that post. From there, she says she reached out to them, seeing if they would come to Kalamazoo, and they agreed. Jackson and Carney say the momentum behind calls for equality feels different than before because there are more eyes and voices taking part across the world. Jackson says being a part of this movement is his purpose, and George Floyd will not have died in vain.
You've never seen every race, every color standing together, fighting for the same common goal, which is equality, which is love. And I'm happy that I can be one of the faces of that, and I'm glad that my brother's death won't be in vain. You know, because when you hear the name George Floyd, it'll be the name of change, and that's what's happening now.
Today's rally did place a large emphasis on getting change through voting. People here were registering to vote today, and organizers were also encouraging those in attendance to make sure they participate in this year's census. Reporting live in downtown Kalamazoo, Genevieve Grippo, News Channel 3.
Thanks, Genevieve. Well, the Michigan Democratic Party Black Caucus of Kalamazoo is calling for an investigation. Group members say misprinted ballots were sent to several voters in Kalamazoo Township. They say the ballots left out several candidates, and some of those candidates are African American. Kalamazoo County Commissioner Stephanie Moore says voter disenfranchisement has no place in Kalamazoo.
This is at a time where we are in the midst of a pandemic, where we are experiencing structural racism and discrimination, and historically the time where we have the most African American candidates running for local government, that not only are voters being disenfranchised, but so are these candidates.
The group is calling for an investigation and for the incorrect ballots to be recalled. We're hearing why a West Michigan sheriff says he won't be enforcing the governor's latest executive order. Today, Van Buren County Sheriff Daniel Abbott announced his office it won't be investigating violations. According to the executive order, starting Monday, people will have to wear masks while inside or face a $500 fine.
There's a lot of question marks about the executive order itself, about if we can even enforce this executive order. It's very bland. With that, some of it's almost borderline unconstitutional. You're going to violate possible civil rights and civil liberties, and we don't want to go down that road.
The sheriff's office says people should still follow CDC guidelines. They say violations of the governor's order should be referred to the Attorney General's office or to Michigan State Police. Nearly 54,000 people in Michigan have now recovered from COVID-19. That's according to the latest state data released just hours ago. The state also reports 653 new COVID-19 cases. That brings the total number of cases up to 68,948. The state's death toll is now more than 6,000. Michigan reports 28 new deaths today. 22 of those were identified during a vital records review. All right, breaking those numbers down here in West Michigan, Kent County continues to have the highest case count in our area, now nearing 5,300 cases. Kalamazoo County reports 1,135 infections. Calhoun County reports 540 cases. Here in West Michigan, the Michigan National Guard is helping with testing efforts. Today, the Guard offered free drive-through testing in Allegan County. People were able to drive up to the Allegan County Services building to get tested for free. This is the latest drive-through testing site the Michigan National Guard has done. Over the last 2 months, they've held similar testing events in 29 other communities. All right, taking you now to a live look over downtown Kalamazoo through our Peregrine Tower camera. Not many clouds in the sky. Meteorologist Will Haney joins us now live from his living room. Will, I think we're going to see a little bit of a change in those clouds because you're saying there's some rain chances tomorrow.
Yeah, Callie, it'll be pretty spotty, but we could see some showers overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. A little bit more cloud cover than we saw today. Here's live Doppler radar. You can see some spotty showers that were trying to work their way across the southern shores of Lake Michigan, but we really didn't see a whole lot of that. Maybe if you were in, say, Berrien County, though, you might have seen some of the blow-off cloud cover from that. But a larger complex of storms worked its way through parts of north central Illinois and even Indiana, where it was severe warned within the last 6 hours. And then also another complex of storms now pushing into Waterloo. Some of those severe. We're not going to see any severe weather, but some of the associated showers with that could hold together into the overnight and early tomorrow morning. Temperature-wise right now, it is in the lower 80s, but feeling pretty comfortable despite the warm temps. And that's because our dew point is in check, meaning it's not too humid out there. Today was still above average with a high of 85, and that seems kind of familiar, that above average trend, but nowhere near those 90s we were locked into not too long ago. So your evening will fall through those 70s, a really gorgeous night. Will stay partly cloudy. That will become important because there's actually a comet that you can look for early tomorrow morning. I'll tell you more about that. We're also looking at when some serious heat and humidity returns to the forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Will. Looking forward to the comet, not so much the heat and humidity. All right, more than 1,000 customers are without power in Parchment this evening. You're looking live now at the Consumers Energy outage map. According to Consumers, a downed wire caused the outage for the substation on Glendale Boulevard. Consumers says crews are working to restore power, and they hope to have it back on by 6:15, so soon. Military City, USA is remembering Vanessa Guillen. Today, a fleet of cars, trucks, and motorcycles formed a convoy to raise awareness across San Antonio. As Morgan Burrell explains, today's 13-mile convoy was dedicated to getting her justice.
Event organizers say they're completely overwhelmed by the amount of support here today. Truck clubs from San Antonio and Austin are out here to show support for Vanessa Guillen and her family. As hundreds of cars, trucks, and motorcycles piled into a massive football stadium parking lot.
We want her to get the justice that she deserves.
Nina Ramos, the event organizer, couldn't help but reflect on Vanessa Guillen's story. The 20-year-old Fort Hood soldier murdered on base by a fellow soldier, family attorneys say. Her remains discovered not far away, 2 months after she was reported missing.
To see her mom standing there begging to bring her daughter home on American soil was just something that I couldn't imagine.
It's a story that touched the lives of many here in Military City, USA, including Manuel and Frank Arevalo.
We felt it was a tragedy, and we felt compelled to be here to support.
As the parking spaces filled up, everyone raised their flags and held up signs demanding justice for Guillen, who allegedly confided to her family shortly before she disappeared she'd been sexually harassed on base.
We're here en masse to support the military changing their policies to protect women a lot more.
And as this convoy made its 13-mile journey from the city's west side to this memorial for Guillen on the south side, many thought about what they might say if Vanessa's family were here.
We are behind their family, that we support them 100%, and that the community in San Antonio is with them.
In San Antonio, Morgan Burrell, back to you.
There's new reaction this evening from former Trump advisor Roger Stone. Last night, President Trump commuted Stone's 40-month prison sentence. Stone was convicted of lying to Congress and witness tampering. In a statement, the White House called Stone a, quote, victim of the Russia hoax, which is reference to the Mueller investigation. Now, here's what Stone had to say about his conversation with President Trump.
He said, you understand, I have the option, I have the authority to either grant a pardon or commute your sentence. He says you should understand that a pardon would be final. and that in accepting a pardon, you are exceptionally accepting guilt. And I would rather see you fight this out, which is why I'm commuting your sentence.
Stone has maintained his innocence throughout the legal proceedings. He was supposed to report to prison on Tuesday, which Stone called a death sentence given his age and the pandemic. Well, we are all wearing masks more often now. It doesn't seem like that'll change anytime soon. How to make it easier for little kids wearing them. Plus, it's a place you can go and feel like a kid again. What changes are in store for Disney World as the park reopens?
Roll up your sleeves, West Michigan, to give.
Schools across West Michigan are still preparing their back-to-school plans. While we don't know what school will look like in the fall here in Michigan, a recent decision in Nevada could be a glimpse of things to come. Schools in Las Vegas will have to wear masks throughout the school day. Parents say that's no easy task. Lauren Clark is with our Las Vegas sister station. She has expert advice on ways to make sure children stay masked up.
4-year-old Marcel.
Oh yeah, you did it.
Loves the splash pad at Sunset Park. But something he doesn't like?
We don't like to wear masks all day.
He don't like to wear masks all day.
Come this fall, though, Marcel and thousands of other CCSD students might not have a choice. CCSD Board of Trustees unanimously approved the district's proposed reopening plan, including mandatory masks for all students, teachers, and visitors. Yet parents of young children say they're skeptical.
They play with it, they take it off, they're running rampant with it like it's a toy.
It's a distraction. I don't think any kid's gonna wear a mask.
It's a distraction that concerns kindergarten teacher Kristen Nigro.
Definitely chewing on them, using it as a tissue.
Who foresees little ones doing everything with masks but wearing them.
If I'm spending like half of my time, redirecting about the masks, we're going to lose a lot of academic time, and that's super concerning.
That's why physicians like Dr. Jeffrey Ng say parents will need to help.
You have to mass train your kids at home.
Training, he says, that can start with small steps.
Start it with an hour. Wear it for an hour. Wear it for then go to 2 hours, and then reward them. And just kind of like, hey, you get this. You get TV time or you get computer time. You make the mask cool. Make it fun.
And luckily, fun is what kids like Marcel know all about.
Let's do it again.
In Las Vegas, Lauren Clark, News 3.
Right now, there's a public appeal to save lives during the pandemic. News Channel 3 has teamed up with the American Red Cross for the Sinclair Cares Roll Up Your Sleeves campaign. The COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in a severe shortage of blood at blood banks and hospitals nationwide. If you're in good health, please consider making an appointment to donate. The Red Cross says it adheres to the highest standards of safety and infection control. You can make an appointment at a blood donation site near you. To schedule your appointment now, just go to wwmt.com/cares. We're getting a new look at some of the impact from Tropical Storm Faye. Faye made landfall in New Jersey, about 10 miles north of Atlantic City yesterday evening. According to the National Hurricane Center, maximum sustained winds are 50 miles per hour with some higher gusts reported. This is the fastest we've gotten to an F-named storm on record. Wow, Will, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, a lot of rain, a lot of wind. Fortunately, it has weakened considerably since a lot of that video was shot. So that's the good news as it continues to push off into, say, Vermont and up towards Maine now as a post-tropical cyclone. Now, right now, we're seeing gorgeous weather across West Michigan. Temperatures really comfortable. It's feeling like summer still. We're still sunny, still in those 80s, but not the 90s we were in just a few days ago. And the humidity is really staying in check. And I spy with my little eye that looks like Friends Goodwill floating out on Lake Michigan. Perfect timing for that live look in South Haven. Now, here is a really cool thing. I mentioned this earlier in the show. So Larry Burdick, this is probably one of the top 5 photos of the year, possibly. I'm going to call it now that we've received. But Larry captured this shot out at Fine Lake this morning. And what you're looking at there is actually a comet as it's starting to now go away from the sun. And it has that really cool streak. Now, some information on this comet. So this is called Neowise because of the the actual device they used to discover this, and it was actually discovered not too long ago. And best viewing is happening really early in the morning, so you got to set that alarm early. But it's right around twilight, so 4:45 to about 5 a.m. give or take. You want to look low on the northeastern horizon. Now, this is the thing. So that was actually pretty bright yesterday. I don't think it'll be quite as bright based on some of the information I've been looking at for tomorrow morning, but you really need to, one, have a really good view of the northeast sky. You need to be away from city lights to see the best viewing, and also you really want to give your eyes some time to adjust if you are going to try and see that. Now, if you miss out tomorrow morning, if you're like, I don't want to wake up that early on a Sunday, there's going to be some viewing later later this week in the evenings, and we'll talk more about that a little later in the week. Right now, though, in South Haven, again, a glorious shot there. The waves have been actually fairly high today. They've actually come down. It's about 1 foot. That's what's being reported to Bowie. Check out that water temperature, though, 79 degrees. So that is enough, actually, to make the air and water feel about the same. Tomorrow, actually, I do want to mention this. The waves expected to build in the afternoon and evening. The north side of Piers going to be especially dangerous with some 3 to 5 footers. So if you see red flags out at those beaches, always remember no swimming. Live Doppler radar right now, quiet across the mitten. There's actually a pretty impressive complex of storms out in Iowa. That's the little batch of energy we're going to watch tonight as it pivots across the southern shores of Lake Michigan. So for the evening, we'll stay completely dry, plenty sunny. Here's the other kicker with that comet tonight. We could have some partly cloudy skies, and unfortunately, if you really want to see it, you really want crystal clear skies. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case tonight, like what we saw last night, which was perfect, again, viewing for Larry. We'll have some spotty showers, though, in play, I think, along and south of I-94 through about 7, 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Then we're, for the most part, dry into the afternoon, but some clouds hanging around. And so with the clouds, we'll see a little bit cooler of a day tomorrow with highs around 80 degrees. As far as how much rain, up to about 1/4 of an inch is possible in places like Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties tonight with some of those showers. Now, the dew point stays in check these next couple days. It starts to really increase by Wednesday. We're going to have a return of that heat and humidity later this week and into next weekend as this ridge of high pressure out in the southwestern United States starts to creep its way towards us. As far as our next chance of rain, it holds off, it looks like, until likely late Tuesday and then continuing into the Wednesday time frame in the form of some scattered showers and storms. Really quick, your Maple Auto Group 7-day forecast. After the spotty showers and storms tomorrow, we're dry Monday, Tuesday. Then that heat is back. Again, the best timing for some showers and storms Wednesday, and then we linger those spotty rain chances later in the week. Callie?
All right, thanks, Will. I am enjoying these little bit of 80s. I'll take it. All right, well, it is the happiest place on earth. What new steps people have to take if they want to visit Walt Disney World?
Wheel of Fortune.
The happiest place on earth is back open for the first time since March.
For the health and safety of everyone, please wear a face covering. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain physical distancing. Thank you for your cooperation.
That is the warning ringing out in 2 Walt Disney World parks today. Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom are the first 2 to reopen in the Florida resort. Guests have to go through temperature checks and have to wear masks to get in. Cast members are also separating parties on rides.
I do feel a bit nervous when trying to do all the things I love and enjoy doing again, but also remembering to do them as safely as I possibly can. Wearing an N95 mask to the parks, social distancing from other park goers, packing Clorox wipes, packing hand sanitizer, keeping my hands clean at all the different hand washing stations.
It's only open to limited capacity and rides stop frequently so cast members can sanitize them. Well, restaurants and small businesses have been facing tough times because of the pandemic, but some business has been booming, and that's for food trucks.
Yeah, we're definitely rebounding. We are mobile, and we don't have to have those restrictions that indoor dining has on them.
One food truck owner says the business model had to change when the pandemic hit. Instead of going to corporations or large gatherings, many are going to apartment complexes and food pickups. Groups of food trucks are also setting up in shopping center parking lots, letting people pick up dinner and eat in the car or take it home.
There's some people that dine in, they bring in their cars, they take their food to their car and they dine in their car.
Just a lot more variety, you know, it's like sometimes it's a little tiring just cooking at home all the time.
Here in West Michigan, the Kalamazoo Food Truck Rally sets up several events with vendors. The next one is this Tuesday, and it's going to be outside of Midtown Fresh in Kalamazoo. And right now, what do you know? There's a food truck rally going on in Portage. Trucks are at the Airway Fun Center. They'll be there until 8 tonight, so go grab your food. All right, and finally tonight, you may want to go tropical when picking out your next drink. That's because today is National Mojito Day, Will. The mojito is a traditional Cuban drink, and it's perhaps the most famous of rum-based highballs. The mojito is said to have originated in Havana and was a favorite drink of Ernest Hemingway. Fun fact.
I think our producer Andy, being from Miami, had something to do with this story choice. But yeah, I actually ate out of a food truck earlier. It was delicious out at the Farmers Market in Kalamazoo. Your Maple Auto Group 7-day forecast: 80s the next several days, upper 80s by Tuesday before the humidity really ramps up. Best chance of rain Wednesday.
All right, looking forward to that cool down, and then we're back up. We'll see you back here at 11.